Hey everybody, and Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. Sorry, it has been a few days since I posted a video. It's the holidays, things are a little bit crazy, even though nothing is really happening still, quarantine and all that stuff. But, family stuff does happen. I just wanted to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. I had typical adult birthday. Had an eye doctor's appointment and then pretty much did nothing because of quarantine. Got tea and a slice of pie in the evening, and yeah, that basically sums up my birthday. So I am filming this Christmas Eve, and probably by the time it gets uploaded, it is going to be Christmas Day. So again, Merry Christmas for those who celebrate it. So a video topic that was asked for me to kind of look into and discuss is anxiety. So like everyday anxiety versus like severe anxiety where either you have to be medicated or just a whole bunch of other stuff is going on. And here's the thing. It's kind of sometimes very hard. I know that kind of doesn't really make sense to kind of divide the two. So basically there is a baseline for all of us. We all have anxiety. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We all have a type of anxiety, and you're probably saying, Jess, what are you talking about? Well, let me just throw out a basic kind of thing we could probably all relate to. Tests, exams, how we all kind of like get that nervous pit in our stomach. If we haven't studied that well, we're kind of feeling a little bit on edge, kind of a little bit panicking. That's anxiety. That's normal anxiety. So what is the difference between that and then going to extreme? Why is there a difference? So basically, regular anxiety is something that you can balance out, something that you can calm yourself down and kind of either talk to yourself, go do something relaxing, like after the exam is done, or like, you sit through it and you realize, well, you do know this stuff, even though you didn't study it. Your body just regulates, it slows down, it takes a deep breath, and eventually it slows down or dies off, and to the point of you kind of look back like, oh, why was I even like freaking out and nervous about a test? Then we have severe anxiety, where you can't necessarily regulate that easily. You can't calm yourself down. Sometimes it turns into a panic attack where you're freaking out, you're sweating, your skin feels like it's crawling, even though you have no idea necessarily why you're freaking out, maybe over some little thing, something that doesn't seem that big, quote unquote. And you can't seem to calm down. You're maybe nervously pacing, you're maybe eating a little too much, maybe eating not enough. You can't sit still. You feel literally, like I was saying, your skin is crawling. And again, that's not necessarily for everybody. I mean, there's other signs that people or symptoms, quote unquote, deal with. And the reason why I say quote unquote is because it could be different for everybody else. I only basically said a few things that throughout me doing research and looking into this was not common, but some people do like say those things, that this is what happens to them. I'm not saying this happens to everybody. And unfortunately, I can't sit here and give you a whole list of symptoms because, again, everybody deals with it differently and can turn into something else. For example, anxiety can relate to OCD. And I will do a separate video on that because unfortunately I deal with that too. Not as severe as some people, but an OCD is commonly, I guess, quote unquote, again, known as everybody has to be clean. Like they're germaphobe. And that's sorry, that was my jaw. That's not necessarily what OCD is for everybody. Everybody who has OCD could be dealing with it differently and different symptoms. So basically, anxiety is, it can be regulated or not. And sometimes, yes, you do need medication for it. Again, not for everybody. I'm not here preaching for that. I know full on that some people, that's just not their thing, and that's cool. I mean, if you can find other ways of dealing with it, like meditation, yoga, writing, baking, whatever, that's awesome. Like, I'm really, really proud of you guys. So yeah, basically I can't sit here and do this long explanation and say, here, I know all the facts, because it's different for everybody. And I wish that I had all the answers. And, you know, some people that see this video be like, well, you really didn't explain much. And that's true. I didn't, because, you know, again, everybody deals with it differently. And I know that kind of seems like a cop-out, but that's just how it is. For me, I can give you guys, like, you know, examples of stuff that I go through. So for my anxiety, again, so anxiety can affect anybody at any time, right? And severe, it depends on the situation, what triggers the anxiety. So I can't sit here and be like, this, and this triggers anxiety, because, you know, it could be more than that. You know, people get triggered or deal with it in different situations. For me, I get anxiety when I'm in large groups. That's just how it is. That relates to my trauma that I went through. You know, I feel very, like, I can get very hot, very, very, very hot. And I get sweaty, I get a little bit clammy, so my hands get all, like, icky. And hence my eczema, because that's just, you know, another thing to be thrown at. And sometimes, like, if I really do, like, if I'm having a bad day or whatever, and it gets, like, really bad for my anxiety, it literally feels like my skin is crawling. Like, not that my skin's moving, it just feels like it's crawling. And I don't know how better else to, like, explain it. It just feels like you basically want to crawl out of your own skin, if that makes sense. That's one of my things. Again, doesn't happen every day, guys. That's not how I feel every day. I get really, really bad anxiety. So now, this could be, again, this could be also a normal thing. People, if they're late or whatever, they get a little bit nervous and whatnot, or a little bit of anxiety. For me, I cannot be late. It just triggers something in me that, like, relates to a whole other stuff of, like, you know, I'm a screw up and yada, yada, yada. That just relates back to my trauma that I went through in high school. And, like, I just get really, really, really high anxiety of, like, I have to be at least 15 to 20 minutes early anywhere. For work, appointment, meeting somebody, I have to be early. It makes me happy. I'm a happy panda, and I'm calm. You know, if I'm running late or something comes up and, like, I'm getting really, really close to the time, like, I tend to, like, freak out. I get nervous. Another kind of something that I relate to, back to my anxiety, is my OCD. And again, I will do, like, a whole video on that, but just to, you know, give a brief little summary. When I get, like, really bad anxiety, so from, like, if I hear people fighting, if people are yelling at me and making me feel like I'm not a good person, that I'm not doing a good job, whether it's, like, you know, being a girlfriend, or, you know, a good daughter, a good sister, a good cousin, granddaughter, whatever, it just makes me feel like I'm not good enough, so that triggers my anxiety. And Yeah, sometimes my OCD kicks in where I have to clean or I have to organize my books a certain way. Like, it drives me insane if like I'm organizing movies and stuff and they're way out of order. That makes me very uncomfortable and gives me a little bit of anxiety. I know, very basic and simple, but again, when I'm in the midst of an anxiety attack, my OCD kicks in. So I have to make sure it's in the right order, or I get obsessed with numbers. I have to, like, when I used to take the bus to, a few years ago, when my anxiety was, like, super bad, I used to have to write down the bus numbers all the time. Like, I had a BlackBerry back in the day. So, and I would save a note. So when you can make notes, and it literally just had numbers of buses. I was obsessed with writing that. That made me happy. I can, some people are gonna laugh at this, but I tend to get a little bit OCD when it comes to movies or TV shows. Like, I get invested in the characters or the storyline. Like, I kind of have to, like, see it through, and if I don't see the series through, like, I get really uncomfortable, the movie series or whatever, really uncomfortable, and I have to do like research into it. I don't know why. I have to read the books. It just makes me happy, and that's just my OCD. It's a little bit weird, I know, but hey. Yeah, I just kind of have to, like, be aware of, like, the characters and stuff, and, like, that's just, you know, it makes me happy. And, like, if I don't do that, like, my anxiety kicks in. So, again, I will go into, like, a full-on detail. That's just kind of, like, a little snippet. So, I know I'm probably going to get questions about that. Don't worry, a video is coming for that. Yeah, so, like I said, I do take medication. I tried for a very, very long time not to be on medication, and it was hell. It was literally hell. I thought I was gonna die at one point. It was just so bad, the anxiety, and it was really, really bad for my body. Again, not for everybody. So basically, severe anxiety can be an unbalanced chemical thing in your body. Again, there's regular anxiety, and then there's, like, you know, severe anxiety, and that could be related to trauma, going through something serious, maybe a bad breakup, and those other topics some of this might seem a little bit repetitive in other videos. So there's, like, postpartum depression and anxiety, and, you know, when I do topics like that, you will hear tie-ins to, like, videos based on this, or my PTSD, yeah, there we go. One, I'm going to do a part 2 of that, because there's some I know I didn't really, there was some PTSD topics I didn't go into. I just didn't want to make a long ass video, make you all sit through that, so I will be doing a part 2, and there are some questions that, you know, were asked, and I have been doing research into that, guys, so that's coming. But yeah, so this is what I learned. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a severe chemical imbalance. It just, unfortunately, that's what it's labeled as. It's a chemical imbalancement, which ties into, like, the depression and PTSD and OCD. And again, people can deal with this without medication. Full on support you guys. You rock. Don't know how you do it. You guys are the best. Like I said, I tried for a long time. Again, I was in denial that I was fucked up for a while. And I eventually got help. I turned and, you know, went through all the paperwork and stuff, and the option for me was to get on medication to help balance out the chemical imbalance. So what I'm saying is not to compare any situations. This is just what I found in research, and here it is. Okay, so we have the regular anxiety that's, you know, not a chemical imbalance, and then you have the severe anxiety. That yes, there is a chemical imbalance. However, it is manageable without medication. They can do it. They find coping mechanisms, like hiking, anything that makes them happy that they can. And then there's kind of like another hand to it, where it's like somebody does need that little extra help of the medication to help kind of calm everything down, so they can help figure out, that made no sense, kind of figure out those coping mechanisms. They can see through without the fog. There's a heavy fog. That's just an easy way of kind of explaining it. Like, there's a heavy fog, and again, it will take a very long time to get the right medication. Again, some people find it right off the bat if they go into the medication. Again, gonna stipulate, not for everybody, okay? I'm just sharing my personal experience on this. It took me a very long time to get on the right medication. And I was the type of person not to kind of go on medication. Like, I didn't want to go on medication. I don't think anybody does. And when I was on the wrong medication, it made it 100% worse. My anxiety was through the roof. My depression was through the roof. My OCD was through the roof. Everything was through the roof. I literally thought I was going to die. And then when I found the right balance for now, it kind of cleared out the fog. So I was able to kind of focus on my trauma, work through my trauma, and kind of go for there. Again, not for everybody. And there is a thing that a lot of people don't talk about. Not that it's not talked about. It's just not a big red flag that's put out there. The common thing is, once you find the right medication, everything is fine. You're set to go. Unfortunately, that's not how that works. Sometimes you do need an increase on medication. Sometimes you need a decrease in medication. It is because of the chemical imbalance, right? So that's why, just because you're taking medication doesn't mean it solves all the problems. It doesn't. It's just a baseline. I've had to change my medications a few times for me to kind of balance out a little bit. And I know people say, some people might say, that sounds severe, like you're a crazy person. I did feel like a crazy person, not gonna lie. But just because you change up your medication, whether you increase it, you try something new, you decrease it, doesn't make you this whole horrible human being. It's just something that needs to happen, that you want, that your body needs. That's a easier way of saying it. Again, not for everybody. Not everybody needs that. I'm just one of those people that do it and do. But it doesn't solve all your problems. It doesn't take away all your symptoms. Again, it's just a baseline for you to kind of calm down and see through the fog. It's complicated because there's so many other things tied into it. So I know I kind of didn't really go into a lot of stuff here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing other topics related to all of this. Like it's all tied in. Again, it doesn't have to tie in for everybody. I'm just saying some situations it can, so it's just easier to kind of like do a topic and then kind of like branch back out and branch out to other things. It's a big kind of web. And somebody asked, I talk with my hands a lot. I do. Again, that I've been doing this since childhood, so this isn't like an anxiety thing. I just tend to talk with my hands a lot. I don't know why. I just do. But yeah, I did, excuse me, I haven't like increased or decreased that since, my anxiety or whatever. It's just it's just there. But yeah, so honestly, without branching off into all these things, the most common thing related to anxiety is depression. And again, that's a whole other topic, and I will be doing a whole segment of all of this. But simple terms is there's the regular anxiety that everybody has, and then sometimes the more severe anxiety that branches off into other things, or it's its own little thing. And again, I can't sit here and basically say like this is what causes it, because it could be completely different from one person to the next. And what triggers you, that depends on the person. I can't sit here and be like, well, you know, this is what triggers it, this is what you have to look out for, because that's not true. That's BS. Because again, everybody's different. And some people are going to get frustrated when they hear this. They're going to be like, well, that's really? And I get it. It is frustrating. And again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything, because I don't. This is still a learning process for me too. I'm learning things new every day. There's new things that come out every day that, you know, we learn. And it is complicated and messy, but it's also pretty interesting to learn about how your body and brain works. Jesus, I need to speak better. But yeah, like I said, again, this is kind of just a layer. Like, there's so many layers to this. And once, like, I do the once I do each topic and, you know, we kind of tie everything in, I am going to do an overhaul of all of it and just kind of run through it a little bit more smoothly. Again, this is just kind of a topic that's going to be floating out into the universe right now until we get more information and other topics, and then we can all like mingle in together. But yeah, I know, again, honestly, there is a whole lot more I can go to, and I will go into it. It just relates to other topics. So again, thank you for watching a video that I have created and put out there into the universe. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate it. To those who don't, happy holidays. I hope everybody is staying warm and safe. It is currently snowing out here. But it was really warm this morning. Now getting snow. It's icky. And I'm about to head into another lockdown, but I might be going back to work. So there's going to be multiple things I'm going to be balancing out once, but that's okay. That's okay. I will, you know, be walking through the process with that with you guys of kind of, you know, dealing with mental health and quarantine and pandemic and working and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, so somebody asked how many videos do I post out a week. I try to do at least 3. Again, life might happen. It could be more or it could be less. But my goal is 3 videos a week. I know it's a little bit rough right now because of holidays and all of that good stuff, but that is my goal. Again, I'm not promising anything because, you know, life does happen. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope everybody's staying safe. And remember, never give up. Always keep fighting. You are enough and you're very much loved. Until the next video, stay safe, stay warm. Sending my love to you guys. Bye.